Hi guys, so today we are going to continue on with the lesson from yesterday. If you go back and watch the video from yesterday, you're going to see part of this lesson again, but this is the half angle identity. And this is the only one that I am not going to actually generate for you. All I want to do on this one is just give you the identity. So if you have the cosine of the half angle, that is going to be plus or minus the square root of 1/2 times 1 plus the cosine of the angle. The sine of the half angle is plus or minus 1/2 times 1 minus the cosine of the angle. And you guys know that you cannot have a plus and minus. So the plus and minus, this is going to be determined by the quadrant of the half angle. All right, tangent. That is going to be 1 minus the cosine of the angle divided by the sine of the angle, or the sine of the angle divided by 1 plus the cosine of the angle. Now I know those should be familiar with you. You proved that these two things were true when we first started doing our verification unit. Okay, so thinking about tangent or cotangent, you're flipping them. So this would be the sine of the angle divided by 1 minus the cosine of the angle, or 1 plus the cosine of the angle divided by the sine of the angle. So those are the formulas that we're going to use throughout this. So we're going to start this by doing a triangle problem. So if I said that the tangent of theta is equal to 4/3, and it falls in 0 is less than the angle, which is 3/2, so between the two angles. So I know in working this problem, I'm going to need to draw a triangle in quadrant 3, opposite, adjacent, and then in quadrant 3, these are both negative, so that's now a positive 5. Right, if I want to find the cosine of the half angle, well, I need to know where that is. So you're going to take and divide everything by 2. So this is going to be in the quadrant pi/2 to 3/4. So it begins in quadrant 3 and it ends, or the half angle is in quadrant 2. So this is a think about. If I had a quadrant 3 angle, let's say 200 degrees, and I wanted to know the half angle dividing, which is in quadrant 3, the half angle would be 100 degrees, which is going to be in quadrant 2. So that's kind of what you want to do in your think about part of what's happening. All right, so now that we know this, then I can say, okay, the cosine of this angle is going to be in quadrant 2, cosine is negative, square root of 1/2 times 1 plus the cosine of my original angle. So for this problem, it would be 1/2 times 1, and the cosine of this is going to be 3/5 negative, so minus 3/5. So the square root of 1/2 times 2/5. So this is going to be negative 1/5. All right, if I want the tangent of the angle, so the tangent of the half angle that would be take one of them that you want to, and it doesn't matter which one that you choose to do with this problem. So if I said I wanted to do the sine of the angle, and the sine of this angle is going to be -4/5 divided by the 1 plus the cosine, so 1 plus -3/5. So -4/5 divided by 2/5, which is -2. And then if you think about that, tangent in quadrant 2 is negative. You have to decide in cosine or sine if this is going to be positive or negative. But tangent will fix itself by doing the math. Unless they have something that is not going to be a triangle. So I want to find the sine of 75 degrees. Okay, so I need to think again. So putting this together, that is half of 150. So this is the sine of 1/2 of 150. So the angle is 150. The half angle is 75. So 75 is in quadrant 1. So working through the problem, you would say the sine of 75 is going to equal positive square root of 1/2 times 1 minus the cosine of the angle. So for this one, that would be 1/2 times 1 minus the cosine of 150. So square root of 1 minus the cosine of 150 is negative square root of 3 over 2. So plus the square root of 3 over 2. So 1/2 times 2 plus root 3 over 2, which simplifies to 2 plus the square root of 3 square root all over 2. You're going to have some really ugly answers as you're working through this problem. So I have the square root of a square root. If I had the cosine of 7 pi over 8, I have to think cosine of 1/2 of 7 pi over 4. So my half angle is 7 pi over 8, but my angle is 7 pi over 4. So this would be the cosine of 7 pi over 8 would be equal to 7 pi over 8 is in quadrant 2. Cosine is negative in quadrant 2. Negative square root of 1/2 times 1 plus, and the cosine of 7 pi over 4 is root 2 over 2. So simplifying this problem, you would have a 1/2 times 2 plus root 2 over 2. So 2 plus root 2 over 4, which is negative 2 plus root 2 over 2. Make sure to simplify out all of your perfect squares. So if you wanted to do something as you were thinking again about a triangle, if I were to say the sine of an angle is equal to negative 2/3, and I'm in the quadrant 3 pi half to 2 pi. And let's say that I want to find the cosine of the half angle. So I want to make my triangle. So 2/3, oops, it's going to come down here. So this would be -2. This would be 3. And this is root 5. So this would become, so divide by 2. So this is 3 pi over 4, 2 pi. So we're going to be in quadrant 2 again. So you would have quadrant 2 is negative square root of 1/2 times 1 minus plus root 5 over 3, which is going to simplify to the square root of 3 plus root 5 over 6. If I want to find the sine of the double angle, that would be 2 sine theta cosine theta. So 2 times the sine of my angle is -2/3. The cosine of the angle is root 5 over 3. So multiplying that gives me -4 root 5 over 9. If I want the tangent of the half angle, then I would look at this and go, look, I've got to use sine and cosine. Cosine is going to have a root 5. So I'm going to do the formula that has root 5 on the top. So 1 minus the cosine of the angle divided by the sine of the angle. So 1 minus the cosine of this is root 5 over 3 divided by the sine of the angle, which is -2/3. So if I multiply by the common denominator, which is 3, that's going to give me 3 minus root 5 divided by -2. Okay, I hope that was helpful. And that ends up all of the identities that we are going to learn for the school year.